Battlefield 6 Season 1 is right around the corner, and today we're able to pull back the curtain a bit on some of the experience upcoming, as we've got some early footage of the new weapons, new maps of Eastwood and Blackwell Fields, along with a few other things, including cosmetics and Battle Pass details. Today, we're diving into a first look at Season 1 in Battlefield 6, so drop your thoughts below. Anything stand out to you? Anything you're quite enjoying? Let me know. If you enjoy the video, drop a like on it, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay updated with all things Battlefield 6 and other FPS content as we chase down 700,000 subscribers. I'd love to have you in the community, but for now, let's get into it. First things first, what you have to recognize is Season 1 is broken up into 3 different phases. Phase 1 starts on October 28th next week. That comes along with Blackwell Fields as a new map, Strike Point as a new mode, the Traverser Mark II vehicle, the SOR 300 SC carbine, the GGH-22 sidearm, and the Mini Scout sniper rifle. You also get a few other things like new attachments and such, but then Phase 2, November 18th, comes along with Eastwood as a new map, Sabotage as a new mode, Battle Pickups as a new combat feature, the DB-12 shotgun, the M327 trait sidearm, and the angled grip. And then December 9th is Winter Offensive, Phase 3, that comes along with a new variant of Empire State, the Ice Lock event, and a new melee weapon of the Ice Climbing Axe. The gameplay we're showcasing today, full transparency, some of this footage may look choppy by comparison to some of the other videos here on the channel. I was not aware of this until I sat down to edit this and the footage for our Q&A stream earlier, that it was corrupted footage, but all of my footage had corrupted to some degree. Some of it may be smoother and some may be choppier than others, so my apologies on that. It's a bit of a personal hardware thing, not indicative of the game's build or anything, but all of the weapons, vehicles, and all that that'll be in Phase 1 will be showcased here in this footage. The only map you'll see next week is Blackwell Fields initially. Things like the battle pickups, DB-12, M327 trait, and more were not even in the build that we had available to us to check out and test out. So those, if there's any early preview event for Phase 2 and 3, you'll probably see that footage around then, but not necessarily counting on that just yet. Updated challenges and such, I also did not have access to. The only stuff we had in our labs build was 2 specific playlists and the loadout section along with settings. So we didn't have a challenges tab to check out any of the updates or anything that may be coming along with that. So the 150, 200 meter headshot elimination challenge, the 6,000 damage in a round repair challenge, we don't know if those are going to be fixed out for Season 1 just yet, but in this footage, you'll be seeing action of the SOR 300 SC, Mini Scout, GGH-22, and a bit more, mostly focused on that Phase 1 content, but again, with Eastwood in this rotation as well. So let's talk about each of these items. The weapons, let's start there. The SOR, or SOR 300 SC, might be my new favorite weapon in Battlefield 6. It's got a moderate rate of fire, packs quite a punch, and is relatively easy to control. Now, you do, of course, want to kit this out with a bit more ammo probably, which is definitely something that I always like to do. And having a 40-round mag is comparable to other rifles that you have available on offer. But again, with that more moderate rate of fire, it's going to feel like those rounds are going further than, say, the M433 with a rapid rate of fire that you'll burn through it in 1 or 2 engagements. The Mini Scout, I think this will be the best sniper that we have in Battlefield 6 once it launches here. It's got what seems like the highest rate of fire and rechambering speeds of all snipers. It had what felt like minimal bullet drop. Like I was lining up shots probably around 150, 200, and I think my longest shot was around like 230 meters. But I was just aiming straight for the head, no compensation for aiming above for that bullet drop, and it just felt like it was going. So that bullet velocity is something that does cut through that drop off, and it was really nice. Now, in terms of shooting horizontally when you're leading a target, that was something that I was still few and far in between trying to get perfected, I guess. Like you'll see some clips probably I whiff what would be easy shots and then hit others that you're like, well, that was kind of lucky. But I think this thing has the potential to be the best sniper in the game once it is launched here. And then finally, the GGH-22, your Glock. This is one that is, I mean, it's a sidearm. I didn't play around with this too much just because I was having a lot of fun with the other 2 weapons. And honestly, I don't pull out my sidearm all that much to begin with. Probably should in some situations, but it's another pistol. It's another sidearm you have at your disposal. Now, where all 3 of these come into play with the unlocks, we didn't have any way to check out or navigate the Battle Pass to see where they're at. We did get a sort of overview explainer of the Battle Pass, which we'll touch on in a second, but as for where and when you'll unlock these, that is still up in the air, though I'd imagine they're part of the free tiers of the Battle Pass. Maps, Blackwell Fields and Eastwood are coming within Season 1 here. Both, I think, are pretty visually stunning in my opinion. While I think that Blackwell Fields produced some areas of visibility that became maybe problematic, scenically gorgeous. Like having that sunset off in the distance set at dusk, it just is cinematic. It's pretty nice when you look at it like that. Now, as for, again, the gameplay perspective of that, I did find that between the shadows produced by that really bright sun one way, and then you had like the burning fields producing some smoke cover and charred ground. It did sometimes, if you had a dark enough camouflage skin, it was a little tough to track somebody on a hillside if you're trying to make your way from point A to point B, but overall, realistically, not all that bad. Blackwell Fields is one of those ones that I think is more geared towards vehicle play, personally speaking. It is a very, very open map in between conquest points and other things that you may be playing for the objective, depending on the mode. Crossing those hillsides and fields may be a death sentence if you are an infantry only player, but for those in vehicles, man, you're gonna have a phenomenal time for sure. Next, Eastwood. I think this might be on the short list for one of my favorite maps in Battlefield 6, and might be one of those ones that is a new favorite in the last couple of years for sure. Visually, I think it's beautiful. I love the setting of this, putting it in a country club and adjacent area around that. I think is really cool. Plus, you have golf carts. You can drive those golf carts all around. I think that's hilarious. You get the nice mud effect whenever you drive through the different mud that spits up to that. Visually, again, really nice. In terms of the gameplay layout and flow, this has a lot more cover between A to B and things like that infantry, I think, will have a little better time weaving in and out of different areas. Everything kind of all funnels towards C naturally, but that is where you're going to see a lot of the stuff at the clubhouse be the sort of center point and breaking ground for all these different firefights that come through. That's not to say that there isn't a lot of different contested points elsewhere, but the natural flow does kind of bring everybody towards the center of that map, and it gets pretty chaotic at times. I really enjoyed both these maps, to be honest with you. As for overall gameplay updates in regards to this, it seemed like the dispersion bug that we have right now within Battlefield 6 that produced more bloom or spread was fixed. However, I'm curious to see if this was like a closed loop update or not, because we were still having matches that went to time limit of 30 minutes, which obviously was something that was adjusted here in a recent update. But I did notice that that bloom dispersion bug was something that seemed to be fixed. My shots did feel pretty good up until you got until like maybe halfway through a magazine of holding down the trigger, and then you started to notice that deviation. But it's definitely better than what it is right now. So that's nice that it seems to be fixed. I did also notice a bug, however, that I'm hoping is fixed by the time this goes live for everyone, that it seemed to be tethered to vehicles, maybe specifically tanks. But whenever I got out of a tank and went and used a full auto weapon, it seemed like that sort of cone of dispersion, that spread, that bloom, was either an insane size for that deviation, or it was a hit registry issue, because I would be right next to someone unloading into them and not get a single hit marker or registry of one of my shots. Then whenever I went down, because inevitably I'm not hitting shots I'm going to get shot back at, whenever I go down, I get back up, it seemed like it was working again then, but it was a really odd bug that I noticed that hopefully doesn't make it to live. Beyond that, we didn't have access to, but we learned a little bit about the Battle Pass coming with Season 1, where you're going to have both free and paid tiers as normal. This is where Battlefield Pro will come into play, where you have that full access to the paid Battle Pass and things like that. But the Battle Pass itself comes along with multiple paths of progression. So what this means is there's 110 total tiers, but they're broken down into, first, I think, an initial 5 tiers. That might just be something that's an immediate unlock with the Battlefield Pro Pass. But then you have 4 main paths you can take your choice of that each have 22 different tiers. So this basically meaning that you can like progress towards one weapon faster than another, perhaps. Like if it were to be a traditional pass, it'd be tier 44. You could then end up getting that weapon at like 22 rather than 44, because you can choose what point you want to enter into. Then upon completing those 4 main paths, it appears you'll gain access to an additional 7 tiers and 10 tiers in paths, along with the, again, 5 at the very beginning to complete an account for that total 110 tiers. So giving a little bit of choice with the Battle Pass, but still for the most part, everything being a Battle Pass like you remember from prior seasons of Battlefield. Now, what do these cosmetics look like that you'll end up earning? Well, having had the ability to check out some weapon packages in the customization, it doesn't feel like anything is too over the top or too crazy from what we've seen thus far. None of them were really like, okay, that's drawing a line. The most detailed or ornate packages were those of the SOR and the new carbine and the new sniper rifle, those presumably max Battle Pass reward packages, but we didn't have any access to the full pass to know how these were specifically unlocked. But overall, I didn't really think that they were too crazy, too drawing a line and going over that line, but maybe that's just me. On screen, you'll see some of that stuff here for you. But anyways, I guess the big question mark out of this, and what I got asked a lot out of the Q&A stream we did earlier, is where's the Battle Royale? Truth be told, your guess is truly as good as mine. Right now, it's still rumored to be launching on the 28th, but officially speaking, we have not seen anything just yet. We did not capture footage, or at least I personally didn't. Maybe there was another capture session that I wasn't invited to, but I did not capture anything with this that we had to play with Season 1. There's nothing in the official trailer. We don't know of if this will be launching on the 28th or not officially just yet. I'd say it's kind of a coin toss at this point. Perhaps be ready for a launch on the 28th, but maybe don't be all eggs in one basket just in case it doesn't happen. But right now, it's currently rumored, just nothing officially spoken about this just yet from DICE or any of the Battlefield 6 teams. But anyways, that is Season 1 in a nutshell, a little first look here at this. So what do you guys think of Battlefield 6 and what we have on offer with Season 1? You liking what we've seen so far? Anything you're hoping to see with Season 1 as well? Drop your thoughts down below. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so almost a single thing running all things Battlefield 6 as we gear up for Season 1 and beyond. Plus, a lot of other stuff upcoming as well. Arc Raiders, I know that it might be blasphemous to say, but we've got Call of Duty in a couple of weeks. A lot of stuff here coming on the channel I'd love to have you guys in the community for. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Mods Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.